Have you ever tried fermenting or pickling vegetables? How about preparing vegetables in a way that enhances the flavor, preserves it for weeks, if not months, and also allows you to enjoy recipes from another part of the world? In this fermenting, pickling mini series, that is just what we have been doing. Do you want to see how I made a new recipe? Here we go. Hey everybody, today in my kitchen we are going to do another Joy of Pickling recipe. Today we're going to do a Korean pickled fermented daikon. We did a Chinese fermented daikon and now we're going to do a Korean one. So let's just run through the ingredients of this one because it is very different. Even though this is considered to be a simple version of a Korean daikon fermented radish, it is there's a lot more going on than with the Chinese one. The Chinese one was like incredibly basic. So this one is going to have 1.5 pounds of daikon radish cut into cubes, just like the Chinese one. That one was also kind of in chunks, which kind of surprised me. So we're also going to add 6 scallions. This one's going to be cut into thin rounds, 8 cloves of garlic, 2 teaspoons pickling salt, 2 teaspoons sugar, and 2 teaspoons of Korean dried red pepper flakes. All of this is going to sit in a bowl, which is very common, which I've seen with like kimchi and things like that. You let it sit in a bowl for a period of time, and then you put it in the fermentation vessel and let it go. This is going to ferment for 3 to 7 days. It's not a super long fermentation time, and I have found that with things like kimchi, they don't need to go that full length. We have had some hot weather, so I'm thinking that that may speed things up a little bit because when it is warmer, things will ferment a little quicker. So we'll see. I'm thinking it's probably going to be 3 to 5 days if I had to guess, but I've never done this recipe before, so I don't know for sure. Okay, let's get going on this fermented daikon. Now this is also a Korean fermentation, and similar to when we fermented the turnips, this is actually going to sit as well for a little bit, but instead of just sitting in a salt, like just the radish and the salt, it's going to be all the ingredients sitting for 6 to 12 hours and then being transferred into the jar that we'll use to ferment it. So we've got my radish here. I'm going to go ahead and get this peeled first. So I'm going to go ahead, I've got a bowl here to put everything in, and this is where it'll sit overnight. So I'm just going to go ahead, get everything chopped up. 2 teaspoons of each, the peppers, the crushed red pepper, the sugar, and the salt. So we'll get that all mixed up. So I like to mention the book that I use with all of these recipes that I've been doing so far in this fermentation pickling mini series. I've made a playlist with all of them, and up to this point, they've all been out of this book. I'll link it in the description, but it's been really fun, and there's 250 recipes, so lots to keep me busy. I've mentioned this before, but I know for sure there are recipes that I just will not do out of this book, or at least yet. I think maybe once I get going more, maybe I'll branch out. I don't know. The thing is with this Korean daikon radish recipe, there is a more fancier one that they call fancier, and it's got like shrimp, like dried like shrimp in it and stuff like that. I have not really gotten into something that involves like a meat product, so I'm not sure that I will, but for now we're sticking with vegetables because I'm comfortable with them, and I like the way they turned out. This smells so amazing, and it looks really pretty too. It's simple, and it's just gonna sit like this all night. It smells so good. So it's 4 in the afternoon. I guess I could probably put it in before bed. We'll see. We'll see. But I know this is not gonna fit in a quart jar, so we're gonna have to get a half gallon out for this, which will be fine. So we are ready to just let this sit for 6 to 12 hours. I wanted to show after only about an hour how much juice has been pulled out of the vegetables. When vegetables sit in salt, just plain salt, there's something about it that pulls liquid out. So this is why they want you to keep stirring things like this. So yeah, I just wanted to show you the liquid. This continues to just smell absolutely phenomenal. I am so excited to try this. Here we are getting the veggies into the jar where it will ferment for a few days. It turns out the quart jar was big enough, which is great. The main thing you want to make sure to do at this point is to keep the veggies submerged in the brine. I'm always pretty hands-on with my ferments, so I'm in there a couple times a day stirring and pushing the veggies down. If you didn't want to be this hands-on, you could always get a fermenting pebble, which would be found near the canning jars and canning supplies in the stores where you can buy these types of things, or you can use another method to keep the brine higher than the vegetables. This ferment turned out so good, so delicious. It reminds me a lot of kimchi, both in the process and the end flavor. I might try chopping the Daikon radish into different shapes. I was thinking matchsticks might be kind of fun, or even just slices. But other than that, this recipe is a keeper for sure in our house. Wherever you are, I hope you are well. I appreciate you, and we will see you soon.